we are physically not apart, not together, and trying to do this long distance thing. And then we anticipate another transition. If I don't know if you want to talk about that, but yeah, I think that just reflecting on these past almost 4 years we've been together, there are multiple transitions that we have had to navigate through, which forced us to like learn about ourselves and get more acquainted with what is it that's going on with us, because a lot of times we could kind of like just bypass it or skirt by it. But once life actually starts happening to you and you realize that you yourself are in a position where you don't know what up and down, side to side is, and you're in a relationship that who's also trying to learn who you are in the space, but also may not even have the tools or the capacity to help you hold yourself up, it just becomes a really big weight. It can become a very big weight on a relationship. And yeah, I think that kind of encapsulates kind of the roller coaster of a ride that life has been just in these past 4 years.
I think that while going through those transitions or those different stages of our relationship and just us being individuals, we did not realize how much that was affecting our relationship. We didn't realize that, oh, there's been a surge in arguments, and there's been, our impatience was highlighted because we have all this outside of us affecting us. But when we bring it into our relationship, when we are interacting with each other, like those transitions weigh on us. We don't realize like we didn't even have a chance to breathe. I think us humans are so easy, like not easy. It's so easy for us to transition and go from one thing to another. With kids, I was having a conversation with my mom, and I was like, I wouldn't say she was a single mom, but she was really she did everything when it comes to raising us, and that's kind of the norm. And I commend her all the time. I'm like, how do you do that? I'm just trying to make it with my seemingly minimal transitions, but I'm just like, how did you weigh all that on your shoulders? And she was like, I didn't have a chance to breathe or ask myself, how am I doing it? I just did it. I just do what needs to be done. I don't look left and right. I know I have 3 kids waiting on me to cook, to feed them and take them places. Like, I just have to do it, which that's a lot of us in survival mode, trying to just keep afloat. One of the major transitions that I've been through outside of our relationship in the past 6 months, I talk about it all the time, but coming to live here at home with my parents. It was a huge transition for me because when you grown and you ain't got to answer to nobody, and when you get to learn yourself, you really put that to the test when you come back to who raised you and what environment raised you. My biggest transition was taking all of what I learned in life and coming back home and realizing, oh, I'm just like my dad. Oh, dang, like, he has characteristics that I feel like I healed from. Now I'm attacking him, because I feel like I'm healed and he should be too. Like, that transition in itself, coming home and observing how I'm reacting to the environment that raised me. A couple years back, these transitions weighed on us so much. That's what got us into therapy. I think the very first time we reached out to a therapist was because she pointed out to us. She was like, I realize you guys are going through so many transitions. And I was like, oh, snap. That is a thing. Who talks about transitions? Like, who points out? We all in survival mode and moving. Who points out to us that is actually what's weighing on us? And I felt like it was important for us to hit on that today, because I feel like it's necessary for us to stop and pause and let ourselves get out of fight or flight mode, and give ourselves a pat on the back for going through all these transitions, for shifting and handling responsibilities. If you take a look at from January 1st to now, you'll realize, dang, I went through this, I got through it. In February, March, I went through this, I got through it. I don't think that we take the time out to pat ourselves on the back for making it through all of these transitions. That was my biggest takeaway for this year, because I'm a person that just keep going, 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 and I don't give myself flowers at all.
Yeah. I want to ask the people that are in the chat, like, or that are on this video, like, what transitions have y'all been going through? Like, whether it's just yourself or in your relationship, like, I want to hear from y'all. Like, what kind of transitions have you been experiencing that you need to pat yourself on the back for? Yeah. I think that um, transitions is also where you learn the most about yourself. And it can be really rewarding and really hard to have a partner who is there being your mirror through the whole thing.
Watching everything, pointing
And,
out stuff. Why you do
and
stuff like that?
commenting and
Right. Why
challenging
you
you.
respond like that?
Mhm.
It could be hella annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say this is a beautiful conversation so far. Holding my
Yes.
partner accountable. Woo! I feel
That
that
can
one.
be tough because maybe your partner don't see it like that. Like, I be holding somebody accountable and it don't come off like that. Like, even when somebody point out something to me, how do I see it as accountability and not see it as, and not have my defense mechanism up and say, well, why you gotta say something? Like, how come I just can't be? And it's just like, you in a relationship, what you do affects me and vice versa. If I'm pointing out something to you, it depends on how I'm pointing it out and how, that's important. Being okay with where I am instead of being proud of what I have accomplished. Man, that's a big one. And I think that we're in a state right now of understanding that we not here on earth. Sorry, this is my thought process. And this is what I'm coming to realize. We're not here on earth to just accomplish, accomplish, accomplish. Like, we're on earth to experience and ask ourselves, what has this experience taught me? And and who have I got this from a podcast. I can't even act like I was just listening to a podcast. It's the Higher Self podcast. And he asked these questions and I said, oh, that's good. He was like, what is this experience teaching me? And as a result of the experience, who am I becoming? Who is the person that I've become? And so right now in this moment, I'm so proud of the person I am, regardless of what I've accomplished. Me existing is enough. Like, I'm so happy.
Mm-hmm. Janine, you say, I learned to hold myself accountable. I think it's really, I connected with what you said because I'm here in a space where I'm literally home alone almost all the time. So it's literally me, myself, and I. And so if something doesn't happen that I tell myself to happen, I find that now that I have nothing in my way to blame it on, the only person I could blame it on is me, you know? And so at the end of the day, nothing is going to hold you accountable more than than you holding yourself accountable for, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's why I took a walk this morning. I went and I walked because there would always be something in the way, like, oh, I woke up too late and it's too hot now, or it's too late now and it's raining, or we would try to go on our walks, but there is, for me, in my whole viewpoint, there is literally no reason why I can't take a 30-minute walk every day. And my mom has a treadmill set up in the garage. Like, so it kind of negates everything that I've been trying to place in my way of doing this one thing for myself. And so, yeah, holding myself accountable is like, I'm facing myself in the mirror, like, girl, you the only one, okay? You the only one standing in your way. And so I guess in a way, like, that's another transition, is being able to come closer to yourself and understanding who you are. And hopefully by doing all of that, like whole core soul shadow work, that's how you can even become a stronger person in your relationships, because then you can be a better you can have a better understanding of yourself and how you react to things and what you need, so you can better communicate that to your partner.
One more thing on accountability. I realized that the inner dialogue inside, like how we talk to ourselves in our heads, can get in the way of us holding ourselves accountable. Like you talked about walking and getting up and walk. I think we spoke about that. You would say like, dang, why there was nothing getting in the way of me walking. Dang, you would go down this rabbit hole of talking negative to yourself. And instead, how can you flip it and just say, you know what? I got so many other things done today. I'm still alive. You can start flipping how you're talking to yourself to where it's not a beat down, but just hold yourself to a higher standard. Just say, okay, tomorrow is going to be a better day. I'm going to
And
walk.
that is still like the thing that I'm learning, because like I'm on this like self-love journey and trying to change the way that I think to myself, and being able to shift that energy into the positive is the hardest thing to
Yeah.
do, because it's your brain is so naturally equipped to be like, girl, you know you could have got your ass up, like, come on, it is not that hard, you've been sitting all day. Like, it's so easy to switch into that versus being like, you know what, you did go bike riding like this week,
Mm-hmm.
so pat yourself on the back for that. And you went walking last night. You know, it may not have been 30 minutes and on an incline of 2.5, but it's still something, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. It's all a process. I think for me in this self-love, this self-healing journey, I try to grasp all these nuggets all at once. I'd be like, okay, we about to talk to ourselves. We about to hold ourselves accountable. Okay, let's do that. We about to talk to ourselves positively. And I would overwhelm myself trying to tackle all of these things, all of these areas. I don't know if where I got that from. I don't know, but I know that that has contributed to me being hard on myself. I didn't like if I think just on the past year, what all I've went through mentally, physically, spiritually, I did take myself on this wild journey of just trying to accomplish too much in such a little amount of time. There was this big spiritual uh era that I was going through once me and Natalie kind of separated, like physically. I took myself on this journey of like, man, okay, your relationship, you're separated now. There's some work you need to do on yourself. I had this expectation like, okay, we're going to be back together in 6 months, or I didn't think it was going to be 6 months. I thought it was going to be, I don't know what time period, but I had an expectation for myself. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to work on this. You realize that you are a judgmental person. You need to work on this. You realize that you are impatient. You need to work on this. And I started, that contributed to me talking negatively to myself because it was unrealistic. I was not going to capture all of that and accomplish all of those things in that short amount of time. And what I learned from myself is to be soft on myself, be not to be hard on myself, and to keep learning because I got eternity to continue learning. There's no rush. That's been a transition for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So if y'all are just joining, what has been a transition for you in this year in your life? What has something you've gone through or still going through?
Man, that got deep.
It got hot. So hot, bro. What you laughing at?
You. It looked like it took a little breath out of you.
Man, I started perspiring. And I think the light bill people, electricity people, they skimming. They just know that it's hot and they bumped up prices like $80, $100. That's my theory. I think that they scamming.
The light bill is like in the hundreds.
200, and we don't even be using electricity like that. We purposefully be turning stuff off and unplugging. Don't even make no sense. Sorry, that's my side note.
Yeah, no.
All right, we got a new round of people in here. Where y'all coming from?
Hey y'all. People flowing in.
Next week, Natalie will be
Say
coming to
that.
Houston.
Yeah.
What'd you say? You knew I was gonna say
I
that?
I was ready, like I was going to say that.
Yeah, we're on the same wavelength. Yeah, we gonna go camping next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll make it in this heat.
Yeah. Next week we'll be probably at the campgrounds
Yeah,
doing
we're
live.
gonna have we're gonna have our lives. We're gonna be together, and hopefully, we got something special. I'm not gonna give it away. But yeah, I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
Landon told me, my brother, he told me that he went to that campsite before.
And what he said about it.
He said he liked it. It was real cool.
Yeah. Did he
Yeah.
say anything
I'm
about
not
the
gonna
sky
say
and
it.
stars?
No, no, he didn't say anything about that.
I just hope that
I need to ask
it's
him.
clear. I like to see stars at night. I want to see the Milky Way, like from Earth. Like that's my goal. That's one of my goals. We were supposed to do like camping out in Phoenix,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I didn't trust your car. I don't trust your car.
I feel like you
Mm-mm.
don't trust any car unless we rent a car.
Mm-hmm. Because they're basically new.
Yeah.
Unless it's the car that I know, especially if especially since you told me that car had problems and that it's broken down just in the past like 3 months.
I told you that?
Yeah, you did.
I don't remember that. I
Mm-hmm.
think I think that the only thing that's happened, is the battery went dead. That's what it was. Like
Well,
if a car, this happens, Natalie, Natalie
no,
don't know nothing about
did
cars.
you get a new battery?
If the car sits for a while and it stays idle and you don't go nowhere, the battery gonna go dead.
How long was it sitting?
I don't know. It ain't my car.
Because I mean, like it should. If it was like a week, it shouldn't go dead from a week. Now, does I I got a new battery for my mom's car because it was like screeching and stuff when I started, and
Probably need a
so
new battery.
huh?
I said, yeah, it probably need a new battery.
So why it does a new battery is just like $100. Like it just instead of like using it to like hope that it works and then bring a spark plug with you, just get a new battery.
The thing is, it ain't my car, and I ain't about to spend my dimes. I
That's why I don't touch your car.
ain't about to, but it's gonna do what it needs to do for next week.
Okay, that's it. And that was like that was okay because we're not gonna be too far from just in case we need to go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's my first time going camping.
Yeah. Are you nervous about anything?
I mean, just like American things, like crazy people. Just
Like,
crazy. Like I just don't
crazy
want
people
to be on
trying
the
to.
news. Like, just that kind of stuff. I'll be scared to do stuff in America, honestly. And I'll touch on this. Ever since I came back from Korea, Korea is so safe. Like, you can put all of your guards down. Like, no fear about anything. Like, you even watch the news. The news is all about positive stuff. Like, you're not desensitized by so many killings per square mile. Like, it does not. I came from a different mindset, So once you're exposed to that mindset and you re-enter into mayhem and chaos, like, yes, like it's scary. I have a specific way that I go into the grocery store because I needed an escape plan.
What's
Because
your
no
specific way?
place,
What's
huh?
your what's your
No, no, I
specific?
can't say
You
that.
should share. You should share what your specific way is. Maybe other people do the same.
Okay, well, especially if I go to Walmart. When I go to Walmart, I don't park in the front. I don't go through any of the main entrances. I go to the auto section. I park my car right over where the garden center slash the auto center is, and I enter the store through the auto center, which is the back of the store, and I shop from the back of the store, come down the aisles and up. That way, if anything happens, I have a clear shot to get out of the store through the back. Because if people are coming, they coming in through the front and running to the back. I got a straight shot to my car. That would be the plan. Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I well, I don't shop at Walmart anymore, but I do when I'm with you. It makes sense. It makes sense to go through the garden center or go through the auto center and head out the back and blah blah blah. I'm just thinking about how crazy it is that we gotta think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
That we gotta pre-plan. I think that I grew up watching over my shoulder. My mom always say, like, watch your surroundings. Like right now, I carry with me. So I'm always planning. I'm always looking out for the exit. Like that's one thing I would do is always look for the exit. But when we were in Korea, people was leaving their purses on, if they out in the club, leaving their purses and phones on the table. And I'm just like, what y'all doing? And there was an instance where one of the people I was with lost their phone. It wasn't even stolen. Actually, they left their phone, went somewhere else. Tell me why somebody turned it into the lost and found. I'm
That
like,
was my
what?
story.
I was like, what?
That was my story.
That happened to a dude that I worked with.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that exact thing happened to me. I left my phone at the train station, and I got on the train and went all the way to Seoul from where I was living, which was like an hour away on the bullet train. And somebody saw that, picked up the phone, took the bullet train as well, couldn't find me, got off at their stop, and brought it straight to the police
That's
station. And
crazy.
thankfully, I was able to use the police website because they post like, oh, foreigner ID, pink case, Samsung phone found. It's like a scrolling thing of things that lost and found that's found. And then you just click on it and you see what station it's at. And I go and they have my
That's
stuff. Like
so
that is
convenient.
literally the environment that how safe Korea is. And yet we're over here being like, oh, North Korea is so dangerous and stuff like that. And people are not even willing to open their mind about what possibility, the freedom that you can feel, the actual freedom you can feel, not here. Like it's a
Here's a story.
completely different thing.
Here's a story about Korea. When I first got there, uh, my apartment wasn't ready. And when it was finally ready and I finally got in, I'm very like, oof, I'm real clean and to a point OCD a little bit. It was bugs in my mattress. And I was like, oh no, like this, I'm not sleeping on this. And I booked myself a hotel at 2 o'clock in the morning. I walked about 20 minutes from my apartment to a hotel. And it was the safest walk I have. I was like, it's dark out. People are still out drinking. There's clubs and stuff going on. And ain't nobody worried about me, and I ain't worried about them. I was walking with my suitcase, and I was able to make it there safely. Like, you can, at any hour of the day or night, you rest assured you will be safe in Korea. I'll say the city, because I've never been to the outskirts of
Oh yeah,
Seoul.
you're safe
I've
there.
never been to
It's just you
the
gotta worry about
countryside.
the drunk people. The drunk people are they're not gonna hurt you. They're just belligerent.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place. I came from the country. I started in the countryside of Korea, and then I moved into the city.
Yeah.
So I kind of got a mix of both. Both, you know. That's the only thing is that drink the alcohol. They're really bad alcohol. Like when I would be at Tanya's place sometimes at night, you'll literally see like business people because she was in a business area. like sitting in front of restaurants just like drunk, like slump, and you
They
like be stepping into them.
they some real high functioning alcoholics for real,
Mhm.
for real. Like
Mhm.
they go to work all day and then drink with the boss, with everybody they work with, be all red in the face, and then get up and
It's
do
a,
the same thing.
it's a part of the culture because there's like this idea of like not saying no to your boss, like especially if he's offering you a drink and you want to build your status or rank in the the company. There's this idea of like drinking. This is a drinking culture.
Is it to
Like,
like get close with the boss and get
yeah,
some type of, oh wow.
it's like it's a relationship kind of builder. And if you just don't want any more alcohol, what you're supposed to do is like not drink your whole cup and leave it empty. Like you literally leave it full. But if the boss is like in front of you and like drink, 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 like then you're supposed to drink it.
Yeah. Would you go back to Korea?
Yeah, I would go back to Korea. I think that there was a part of me that felt like I had to be reserved in Korea. Like I would not be able to walk out in the street like this, and this is what I wore today, without feeling uncomfortable because it's a pretty conservative country just in general. So I think that that's the one thing that I would not be too excited about. Having to like return back to like reservedness, especially when I like to
What's
be out. I
crazy
like.
is they're real conservative with the top, but they show all the legs and
Hmm.
butt cheeks.
Yeah,
Like they just, yeah.
it don't make
And then it really doesn't. But I think for me, what's weird because I'm I'm ready to start back traveling and stuff, and I feel like I'm a different person appearance wise. I feel weird with my beard. Like, they already stare at you for being black, but I'm just like, all right. So will I be attacked because they think I look like a man? Will I be praised? Like, will I like? Sometimes I worry about that, but I really don't know. I really just want to continue being myself and just like take all the stares.
hmm
People
It's funny because,
just
like,
talking.
yeah, it's funny because what you're fearful of is kind of like what I was going through, but what you're going through is on a completely different like scale because of what perception is behind, you know, what a woman is supposed to be or what a man is supposed to look like, and you kind of defy both of those
Yeah.
things. And to really stand out, it's already kind of uncomfortable to like you learn a certain level of like comfortability and like freeness in America, just because I think in America there is this sense of like people are just gonna be like you are what you are, whatever. Like they're not gonna just. I mean, sometimes they could just attack you.
Yeah, it
Um,
depends on where you are, but I think the consensus is there are some pockets of just different people. You
yeah,
know, if you're in New York, you can look at me and just be like, oh, all right.
I
But if you in Kentucky, then you're like, what the hell is that? Like,
yeah. I think that there is more polarity in America, like very, very polarity, and people care a lot and feel like there's a responsibility on them to stop
to
what they're seeing.
to uphold, yeah, to uphold this appearance. Like you need to look like this, or I'm uncomfortable, you need to change, type
Hmm.
of thing. But as
Hmm.
far as like when we were in Asia, like it's to a different
Because
level.
I feel like they don't their cultural standards and norms and expectations don't really fall upon like foreigners, so they're not gonna they see us as an exception, to every beauty standard to whatever. And I think in those regards, they kind of just see a separation where there's no need to like do anything about it. They may talk about it, be like, oh my God, did you see
Yeah.
that? But it's not like you're gonna I don't believe you're gonna experience prejudice because of it, you
So for
know?
example, if I was a 21-year-old female, working class, whatever, the expectation would be I need to have fair skin. You know, if I was Korean, I need to have a certain hair, I need to have a certain look. But
Hmm.
because I'm a foreigner, I'm already seen as other.
Hmm.
You know, I show up like this, and it's just like, okay, that makes sense. You from America anyway, y'all do stuff different.
Yeah. They're like, you are our little DEI project over here. You're gonna bring your country and your culture and have our kids experience it, because you're not just teaching English. That's was my job, but you are also like the cultural representation of a whole continent, really.
Man, I
And
remember
you're gonna,
I had braids when my locks were a little shorter, and I put it in twists, and my co-teacher was just like, "Oh, you're." She compared me to some other K-pop star, and I'm like, "Nah, y'all ain't create that. Like, this was from Black people." Like, they was real ignorant, and it felt like I had to educate, but I just like, "Yep, you right. I'm not about to educate." I just remember thinking like, "Okay, y'all think differently, but it's cool. I'm in y'all country."
girl, I had a whole class, a whole Korean class. It was like an extracurricular class on black hair with my Korean students. And I was going through, I'm like, this is what this is. Twist, twist. No, not reggae hair. Twist, okay? Braid, lock. Like we were going through all of them. And then I even had like a little test. Because if you're gonna put me in this role, they gonna learn my culture. They're gonna learn.
Exactly.
I had one of my classes watch a Get Out.
Oh, you had them watch the movie Get
Girl,
Out.
I did. I watched watched the movie Get Out,
Oh, you
and I had to.
traumatized them.
I broke that thing down, girl. When I was doing the most. So I was like, why is this part of the movie relevant, girl? I opened up the map and I talked about the slave trade and what slavery was. I even showed them what how the Africans were layered in the boat to get from here to there. I'm like, yes, that's what happened to black people over there. Okay, like I was giving
Did
them
they
like
know?
full
Did they
on.
know any of that?
Girl, no, they had no idea. Like it was all it was. They had no idea that's how Black American people got there. They had no idea that's the atrocities that we went through, right? It's just there's just how we're not focused on what Korean like other than the Korean War, which the United States was a part of. They're not worried about us. Like
Yeah.
Korea, one of the things that there is prominent in around amongst my Korean students was like this negative sentiment towards Japan because of like the history of what they did to their women, right?
Yeah.
To their country. Like there was a lot that went on, and so there's like this overarching like negative like feeling towards Japan in a way, and so that is their atrocity. That is where their focus is on the Asian region. They're not worried about us. So yeah, if you're in that position, for me, I was in a position where I could teach them about something. I'm gonna teach them about something. All those words I couldn't translate, so I have my co-teacher in the back. I was like, "Can you translate this to the students?" Okay,
They learn. They learn definitely.
they so did.
I
While I was there
am
teaching.
I am Libra, baby. What's up from Belize? Earlier, y'all, we was talking about transitions and stuff that we go through, and then we just got on a tangent about our travels.
Mhm.
But before we wrap it up, though, if y'all got any questions, let us know in the chat.
Mhm. We're always interested to know, like, if you guys have anything that you want to ask us our opinion on, whether it's like I don't know self-awareness topics, which we're doing. Obviously there's a lot of that going on over here, and just how you can be just a better person and better partner in a relationship or even within your friendships.
Yeah. And plus, I think right now it's a fad, right? Like, it's a good fad of this self-awareness and self-love journey. So I'm glad that the world, or it just seems like the world that I'm exposing myself to, is becoming this self-aware, becoming this like, let me shine a light on myself. What'd you say?
Awakening.
Yeah, it's definitely been a big awakening. Like, if y'all are into metaphysics in any way, there has been a timeline shift. Like, it's no more of it's we just got into a different part of consciousness, and I think that more people are now aware of, I'm attracting what's in my life. The life is not happening to me. I'm attracting these people into my life. I'm attracting this partner into my life. I'm attracting this job, these coworkers. You're not just sitting back and life is happening to you. You are making life happen. And I think that once you look at life that way, you'll realize how much control you have over your life.
Mhm.
And so I'm glad that the fad right now is let me take an inventory of my life. Let me become more self-aware. Let me figure out why I attract these partners into my life. Let me stop appearing powerless and stop blaming all these things that's happening in my life, and let me put some power back into my hands, because everything you need is within yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's been so big for me. Life is not happening to me.
Mhm.
I'm more powerful than I think.
Mhm.
Somebody said, "What's up, Patricia?" Said, "I struggle with speaking positively to myself." Girl, you is not the only one. Like we talked about that earlier. Like it's a process. It's a
Mhm.
process. This week I was walking with my mom. We do an evening walk, and we were talking. I was just like, man, do you know we create stories in our minds. We create stories about people, about situations, and then we start reacting to these made up stories. And I was like, it's very hard to put a halt on that. Some of the things that I do in my life does it make you feel good to think about that? Does it make you feel good to make up a story about how Natalie is mad at you and she's responding to this and this and that? Nah, my shoulders are tense. I'm twitching. I feel a slight headache. So
Resistance.
I asked my, yeah, you feel tension and resistance. So I'll be asking myself, does it make me feel good to think about this? No. Then stop. And that sounds real simple, and it took me a while to get there, but that's one of the questions you can ask yourself. And how can you flip it? How can you flip it to where, like, yes, she's reacting this way, and yes, she may feel this way, but I'm going to release it because it has nothing to do with me. Other people's emotions have nothing to do with me. All right, now I'm going to focus on making myself feel good, because it don't make me feel good to worry about people and why they're doing the things that they're doing. I hope that helps, Patricia. What would you say, baby?
I'm gonna just kind of piggyback off of what you're saying. Sometimes I just like when the hardest part is just identifying that it happened, right? One of the first things that I did when I started separating my mindset on like what is this voice, this negative voice that is committed to making me feel bad or making me think negatively versus my real voice, right? Because in your mind, they almost sound like the same thing. It sounds like you're talking to yourself. But that negative voice is actually your conditioned voice. It's other people's voices that you've internalized and that is you're using to talk to yourself or talk negatively.
That's good.
And so the first thing I had to do was be able to identify that voice and to name it, right? So my negative voice, I always say this, my negative voice's name is negative Nat. Yes, like it's a play on word because my name's Natalie, but also negative gnat, as in, those little fruit flies, those gnats, they just be so annoying. They come out of nowhere. They start flying around, and you're like, oh my gosh, like just
And they
die. Like,
start multiplying too
yes,
if you
they
leave them
start multiplying.
alone.
You're like, where the heck are they coming from?
Yeah.
Just everywhere, just taking over. And that's literally how these thoughts will pop into your mind. They first start off just one negative thought. You dwell on that for who knows how long, and then it turns into three, and then it turns into 10, and then it just keeps multiplying. And now you're in this swirl of negativity that's also affecting your behavior and how you're feeling. And so then
Yeah.
now you're going to be projecting that into the world based off of just maybe even one negative thought or how you started your day. And that's why, like, for me, one of the first things that I noticed would shift my day at the first thing in the morning would be me weighing myself, me getting on the scale and seeing that number first thing in the morning would shift my day, especially if it's not a number that I want to see. And so I stopped intentionally weighing myself first thing in the morning to at least be able to control that train of thought and start my day off positively. So at least like later on in the day, I'm at least I built myself up so much that if something negative does come in my frame of reference, I'm not thinking.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good. How you start off your day will give you the momentum of how to finish your day.
Mm-hmm.
If you pour into yourself at the beginning, like the first hour of the day, do as much positive pour in as possible. Dang girl, wow, we woke up. Wow, like this tea is so good or this coffee is so good. Just let the momentum ride.
Mm-hmm.
Do a meditation, sit silently with yourself. Try to limit no emails, no social media. We don't realize that all that stuff get filled in and they become louder than our own voices. So as much as you can in the first hour, say your affirmations, feed your body to where you're going to feel good. Talk to yourself
Mm-hmm.
out loud. Y'all watching Insecure, right? Like y'all see Issa talking to herself in the mirror. Like it sound crazy, it look crazy, but you do that first thing in the morning and you start to hear it out loud and you
Yeah.
say it out loud and hear it and you do that repetitiously, you will start seeing the benefits of positivity, seeing the benefits of like filling your cup. And when it's full, when all that negative stuff, somebody cut you off, somebody, curse you out, you still got, okay, that's just a little bit of my cup, but I'm still good. I'm still in a good mood. But imagine you started your day off, your kids are going haywire, you check the email and you realize your check bounced or whatever, you starting off with not a full cup. And now the rest of the day is going to take from that cup. So I would say continue to start off in the morning, give yourself a midday reset too, and then talk to yourself nicely before you go to bed. Try those things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say like these days in the morning before like those beginning moments when your brain is like turning on and you're becoming aware of coming back to this reality. Like in that moment before I do anything else, before I reach for my phone or get up to go to the bathroom or whatnot, like I sit and like I try to say at least like three positive things to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good morning, beautiful. It's a beautiful day. It feels good in this bed. Like just something so simple that you can just like be like, yes, it does feel good. Like
Mm-hmm.
where you're feeling just a little lifted and you're not waking up neutral. Just yeah.
Um, energy, when you are feeding yourself that positivity, you don't, because we don't see it and we don't pay attention to it, but energy is always flowing. And so if you start off with positive energy, it's a real thing, like matter. If you start off with that positive energy, did y'all know that it actually attracts more positivity? And I mean, like that's what I had. I'm a real logical person, and if I understand things logically, I can apply it much better.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I realized, I didn't know that energy is a real thing. You know, like I know I can't see it. Like our body is an electromagnetic field. If you hook your vitals up, your heart creates these up and down. So when you feed yourself positivity or negativity, just know whatever space you're in, it's going to attract more of it. And it's once the momentum builds, it's gonna be very hard to stop that momentum. And one more thing, because we've been diving into it. Momentum slows down and damn near stops when you sleep. So if you feeling negative and you feeling like you just don't want to be around people, I suggest take a nap or just go to sleep and like have that stuff start all over. And first thing when you wake up, build that positivity momentum because it's going to attract more. And whatever you think positivity is, whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's in your friendships, relationships, whatever space you're in, that's what you're going to get.